Oh, the comments. Oh, if you want to read some comments, the comments are brutal. I read them.
Yeah.
Look at this one. Look at this. Look at this. Frog of shame. If the frog of shame gets more like this than in the original tweet, then your tweet really sucks. Here's a list of ways your magazine could improve. Replace all your writers with 6-year-olds from solid Christian families. For God's sakes, delete your account. Have you not read Jesus and the Pharisees? Oh my gosh. Okay, we better quit. We're gonna go down the rabbit hole. Hey, welcome to Not a Fitted Podcast. It's your boy Anthony Conservative Chicano. I got my guys in the house. I got my guys. Hey, so fresh off for Easter weekend, how you guys feeling? You guys refreshed? You ready? You good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did we do egg hunts yesterday? Did we do egg hunts? Or is it pagan? Is it pagan?
Nope.
Any money in those eggs? So that's what it's all about.
Yes, there was money in the eggs.
How much we get on this one? How much are we making?
Hey, one of my kids made out real well.
No.
Hey, yes. Shout out to all my in-laws and everybody.
Okay, make sure you lock the doors because they got to tie.
Hey, who put on an amazing egg hunt? I mean, you know me. I ain't putting no money in the eggs.
Did you put money in the eggs?
We've had a few dollars in there, not compared with what everyone else put. But.
Okay, since y'all are married to Mexicans, do you do any confetti eggs?
No.
Okay. Do you guys? I don't like the confetti eggs.
I think they're awesome, just not at my house. But we weren't at my house, so
but the confetti eggs, I feel like you can never pick up the confetti. It's everywhere.
I had confetti on my back patio for a couple of years.
That's what I'm saying. You don't like? Do you like confetti eggs? You just don't want it at your house, or you're not?
No, they're useless. For what?
They're useless.
For fun.
They are for fun.
For fun. What do you mean for what?
Okay, so who made out in the money? Did JoJo? Who made the money? Who made the money yesterday?
Yeah, one of my kids made out. We didn't believe him, and they was like, "Oh no, he got a lot of money."
Oh, he did real good.
Yeah, he did good.
Oh man.
Yeah, I had a kid that did real.
Oh,
good.
real good.
Yeah.
They pay rent.
Yeah, dude, I was like, wait, all that came in eggs?
Hey, you should have been in the egg hunt, huh? You should have been.
He almost got jumped yesterday.
Oh. You were gonna jump him?
No. Well, yeah,
Hey,
we gotta pay some bills, but
there's a parental tax. You gotta tax him, bro.
He had cousins and siblings looking at him like we're about
Sideways.
to take this dude out back. And I got this much, and that much, and I can do this with it.
Let's talk about what matters. Though, what'd you eat? What'd you eat, Bishop? What'd you eat?
We had ham, prime rib.
Ooh, who made the prime rib?
My brother.
Was it Derek?
Derek, yeah.
All right, shout out Derek.
Yeah.
Was it good though? Derek, you do good on that prime rib. Come on, him and I talk about prime rib recipes.
That's good. I don't.
Are you not a prime rib fan though?
Yeah,
huh?
I don't. I mean, I ate it, but I don't love prime rib.
Okay, see, I love prime
But
rib.
I'm not big on like super rare meat.
Okay. That
So
makes
it's
sense.
just-
Yeah, that's all right. But did you do ham too, or did you have carnitas? What'd you get?
We did chicken and tri-tip.
Ooh, okay. So I went, shout out Meat Market, and I got a garlic marinated tri-tip. And, we had that, twice baked potatoes, salad. It was good. I don't know if I told you guys, I'm not much of a ham person.
I like ham.
Okay, I only really eat ham in breakfast or maybe a ham sandwich, but I'm not a dinner ham guy. I mean, I'll eat it, but I'm not that big. But
like twice a year, like a Thanksgiving and then Easter or something like that. I like
that's
ham.
you, ham?
I like
okay.
ham.
All right, well, that's what matters. So Easter was good. So Bishop, we were on the podcast last week and we talked about you wearing a suit, and then somebody piped in for John. And so we have to announce the winner. So I got two pictures. Let's go to the first one. This is the Bishop. This is his suit. There you go, looking fly right there. There you go, a little Easter suit. Let's go to the next one.
He did a blue suit.
He did a blue suit. I was wanting somewhere like teal, maybe pink or something. I was hoping for a little hat. I was hoping for something. But let's go to the next one, Nate. Let's go to the next one. And there's John with his. Now that's not really considered a suit though, right? Because that's more of a sweater.
No, he went down a little bit.
He went down. So someone commented.
John was very conservative.
He was. But I just want you to know somebody
John
commented.
fit in to the church, and I did it.
You stood out. That was for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so everybody knows, Bishop, you are the winner because it was clearly a suit. But John's pants were like plaid. They had a little texture, a little pattern to them. You couldn't see them.
He had like golf pants on.
He did. But so I literally, I from the pulpit, I said John looked like a cross between Pitbull and Daddy Yankee. So that's fitting for our church. So. But you definitely win. So I'm a man of my word. Hold on, I'm a man of my word. Hold on, I got to dig into my pocket here a little bit. I'm a man of my word. And I told the bishop if he won, I don't got $500. I got $50 right there. Looking at the camera, $50 right there. Bishop.
It's all right. I didn't do it for the money.
No. But Mike said you can buy him lunch.
He said it's all right.
No. Hey, hold on. I'm gonna put this in the Easter egg so you guys can go hop to the egg. There you go.
Like golden
I'll
egg.
get to my kids.
There you go. I'm a man of my word. Take all my god kids out to lunch. Hey, by the way, that'll barely get you McDonald's these days, right here. That just,
Yeah.
I mean, the way the way how expensive it is and everything. That's barely a meal. So that's on me. Great job.
Appreciate
it. But shout out the winner on that one. Okay, so. We like to have a little bit of fun on here. It's not always super serious. We're going to get to some serious stuff. But I think it was your wife who sent me this. Shout out Raquel. She sent me this comedian, and I'm not going to lie. I loved it so much. I am going to close with this one day on a sermon. I thought it was super good, super funny. I don't know who he is, but I would love to see if he goes on tour somewhere. He's clean. He's a clean, he's clean. That's important, I do like a lot of comedians, but no, they're not clean.
Most of them are not clean.
They are not clean. And it's sad because I find them the funniest. But that's not the point. Okay. This guy, I want you to take a look at this clip, okay? I think you guys all enjoy it.
So there's only two things in life that you worry about. Whether you're healthy or whether you're sick. If you're healthy, you ain't got nothing to worry about. But if you're sick, you got two things to worry about. Whether you're going to get better, whether you're going to get worse. You get better, you ain't got nothing to worry about. But if you get worse, you got two things to worry about. Whether you're going to live, whether you're going to die. If you live, you ain't got nothing to worry about. But if you die, you got two things. Whether you're going to heaven, whether you're going to hell. If you go to heaven, you ain't got nothing to worry about. But if you go to hell, you got two things to worry about. Original or extra crispy? That's the
Oh my gosh, did you like that? I told you that was good.
That was good.
That was good. You only got two things to worry about. What'd you think about the simplicity of that, though? I mean, I know his delivery is good. Shout out Bowtie Comedian. But what do you think about the simplicity? Because isn't that not really the gospel? That's simple. I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's funny. My wife sent this to you, and I saw it too, but we didn't even talk about it. But this is hilarious. But yeah, I mean, right. If you get better, you got nothing to worry about. But if you don't, you just keep worrying and just go down this path. Like, it's truth to it. That's why.
That's what I'm saying. Do we? Well, they say the best comedy is true, right? They say that, which is funny, right? The best comedy is true. But do you think, is it really that simple? I guess, because I feel like as people we overcomplicate things, but is it really it's really that simple, isn't it?
It is, especially when it comes to health. Like, you don't think about, when you're healthy, you don't think about how health until you get sick. You really think about it. You don't care about nothing else. And until you about to die, you're like, man, I hope I get better. If not, yeah.
What'd you think of it?
He's funny. I really liked his delivery. And my grandma said.
Yeah. There's only two things
There's
to worry
two
about.
things to worry about. But yeah, I do think it's that simple. I think that we do overcomplicate.
Why do we overcomplicate it though?
I think sometimes we want to know more than we know, and it's kind of
What do you mean by that? We want to know more, or do we want to be in control more than we are? What do you mean?
I gave a buddy from the gym ride home today because he's physically disabled, so he can't drive. Okay. So we were talking. And he's like, man, when I got diagnosed with Parkinson's, he asked me, hey, you do a lot of funerals? I said, yeah. And it got kind of morbid because, he's got Parkinson's and stuff. And so
that goes south real quick.
But he's good. He's good. He ain't got nothing to worry about, So, and we started talking about death. And he said, yeah, I even struggle with those thoughts sometimes in regards to my own health. Because we talked about, like, why do Christians, knowing that, this is not our resting place, knowing that we're going to go to heaven, like, why do we still even sometimes struggle with the thoughts of death? And my 2 cents was, I think that there's a little bit of, like, we want to know more than we know.
Gotcha.
It's the uncertainty. And so I just think that we desire to have more knowledge than we have because of the control, because fear creeps in, and just different things in sense of like not knowing.
Right. What do you think about that? What he was saying? We have a tendency to overcomplicate these things, and do you think it stems from a wanting, a desire to be more in control, or just knowing even?
Well, I think also too, you want to. All of us want to thrive to be more than what we are.
Okay.
You know, like you want to just like, you just don't want to sit there like, I'm glad to be healthy. I ain't going to work. So there is some drive to it.
Okay.
There's a better, you're trying to have a better relationship with your spouse or things like this.
Okay.
But you may give that too much credit. You put that at the top of your list, not realize, okay, what does God say?
Okay.
What should I care about? A lot of times we talk about, like in our group, talk about the scoreboard. Like, what scoreboard are you? Where are you keeping score at? What scoreboard really matters?
Can you just explain to everybody who watches this what you mean real quick by scoreboard?
So you can have one like your job, your career. Like that's one thing you're tracking, you're keeping score of, and then you have your family. Which one are you putting the priority on? A lot of times people might put it on their job. And that's all you're worried about. What it should be, the focus should be on your family.
Gotcha.
So you're not putting the right things in order. And I think when you do that, and when it starts off with God first, and they'll help you put you see these things going on, like, okay, that's not that big of a deal right now.
Gotcha.
Maybe I care about that, and that's important. We all want to have a good job. We want to have a nice house. We want to be able to provide for our family. But that shouldn't be the thing that burdens us and worries us in that way.
No, thank you for clarifying that. I agree with everything you guys just said. I would say this: if this is permissible, I think people need to laugh a little bit more. Laughter doeth good like a medicine. That's why I try to play these clips. That's why I try to do this, because life in and of itself is serious, and I think we need truthful reminders like this, right? That hey, it's okay to laugh a little, and especially in church, it's okay to laugh. And I purposely throw in the jokes and this type of stuff and the humor and the mannerisms because I think it's good to laugh. And I think it's healthy to laugh. And I think it does something. Matter of fact, I was talking to, does something too, because I was talking to my wife this morning. And the Bible's very clear that we choose joy. And I think we established this a couple of weeks ago. You can have two truths at the same time. I said, even though we're in the midst of a hard season with some personal things going on, you can still choose joy. Mm-hmm. And it's not neglecting one or denying one. It's saying, hey, yes, I realize this over here isn't going as planned, but I still woke up today and I choose the joy of the Lord because that is my strength. I choose joy. And you can have two truths at the same time. And so I was telling her, and that's why I like to laugh. I like to listen to good music. I like to laugh. And so when I came across that, I was like, for sure I want to play that because there's somebody out there right now who needs a laugh. And I just think this is good. And by the way, what makes it funny is it's so true. Mm-hmm. And so go ahead, rewind it, watch it again, and laugh out loud.
Man, that's one big reason why I wore the suit. I didn't want to wear it. I was uncomfortable most of the time.
You look good in it, though, by the way. You pulled it off.
But it's get tired of people. Like every person I ran into commented about it. But the reason I did it is like, I just need to have more fun. Yeah. Like it had more fun in the moment. It was like people were getting joy out of this. It's like it's not that big of a deal. And so I'm trying to tell myself that like enjoy the moments that I'm in and just have more fun with things. So that's the only reason that I actually wore it. Like it wasn't for my own enjoyment. Trust me, I'd rather not have done it. But it was like, why not have fun with it? So
yeah. Well, they gave you a new nickname. They said when you're out of the suit, you're just pastor. But when you're in the suit, you're for sure bishop. So I just thought I'd tell you. Okay, I got a serious question. Just something I was thinking about. One of the things I feel like, I don't feel like we do a lot of things well, but I feel like we've done a few things and we've done them well, especially on this podcast. I got a lot of rave reviews about the Savannah Bananas, that clip about you in baseball. Then your wife sent me one about them doing a Praise Jesus one. I actually reposted it. They were doing a whole, worshiping the Lord one in the locker room. I will say this. If Savannah Bananas comes to Fresno, I'm definitely going to the game. We got to go. I would love to see them play the Harlem Globetrotters type of thing. I would just love to go. It's pure entertainment. I loved it. So I just have a question along the note of social media and stuff. I have a legit question, and I have this question because I want to get honest feedback, and I feel like we've been doing a good job with the honest feedback on some things. So can Donald Trump we'll just say the lefts, and I'm not talking about I should say the extreme left. Let me rephrase that. The extreme left, because I know people who are left who give kudos when kudos are due. The extreme left, could Donald Trump do anything right in the eyes of the extreme left? Can he do anything right? I'm just asking you guys that question because something came up this week and I'm gonna share it with you. But what would you guys say?
No.
Okay.
And for the extreme right too, nothing the left can do.
Yeah.
Isn't it good?
That's what I'm saying. I was going there. So
unless he were to do I don't think he could do anything to move the needle for like the mass.
okay.
If he did something that affected somebody like individually, then maybe.
Okay. Oh, okay. You know what? I bet you're right on that. I bet you're right.
You know, you had somebody who's far left and he pardons their brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I'm
know,
gonna agree.
maybe he's not that bad. But like, if you're just talking about moving the needle for the mass, no.
You know, I'm gonna second that. I think you're absolutely right. I think you're absolutely right. And the reason I said is Bill Maher went to go see Trump. That turned out way different than anybody expected. So I will give you that. I was bringing up the extreme right too, and here's where I was going with it. I think this is one of the problems that we have, and we've lost our ability to give kudos when kudos are due, to applaud something when it's applaudable. You know, does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And this last week, I just want to show you something. This got torn apart, ripped to shreds, and it has to do with Easter. Now, might I remind you guys, I believe it was either 2023 or 2024 that on Easter Sunday, do you remember what our then President Joe Biden did? Trans Visibility Day.
Yeah.
And remember, they mocked him and they went topless and they shot that video. You guys remember that? We actually showed that clip. And it was like, if he's going to invite you to the White House, why would you do that to him? I felt bad for Joe Biden. Like, you didn't need to do all that. That one trans person took off their shirt and they had fake implants. And all. I mean, it was distasteful. But I want you to watch this clip. And to me, I have two statements. Okay. The first one is, this is why the Christians who voted for Trump, this is why they like him. Okay. Follow that. And second, this is why that extreme left people hate him. Okay. Because remember, we just had, I think it was a year ago that we had trans visibility on Easter. And we were all like, what are you doing on Easter? Like, you could pick any day. Why'd you pick Easter? And now I want you to see what President Trump did. And I'm going somewhere with this, okay? And that is, we got to be able to talk about it. Okay, so I just want you to watch this clip, and then I'm going to get your thoughts on this. Watch this.
On Easter Sunday, we celebrate his glorious resurrection and proclaim, as Christians have done for nearly 2,000 years, he is risen. Through the pain and sacrifice of Jesus on the cross, we saw God's boundless love and devotion to all humanity. And in that moment of his resurrection, history was forever changed with the promise of everlasting life. As we approach this joyous Easter Sunday, I want to wish Christians everywhere a happy and beautiful and blessed holiday. America is a nation of believers. We need God. We want God. And with his help, we will make our nation stronger, safer, greater, and more prosperous, and much more united than ever before. Thank you to everyone, and have a really happy Easter.
What'd you think about, in your own thoughts, what'd you think about that?
I mean, as a Christian, I loved it. I mean, everything you said was good. I mean, as a believer, I don't know what you're going to be angry about. He ain't talking about the Easter Bunny. He's talking about Jesus being risen from the dead. You know?
I think it's one of those ones where they say just consider the source. You know, him talking about it in general.
Yeah.
So I mean, okay, good. We'll get back to that in a second though. What'd you think about it?
Yeah, I had no problems with it. I mean, whoever is in office is going to voice their opinion on any holiday, whatever their belief is. We meaning whoever voted for him knew where his beliefs were when he got elected. And so I think any person in office, whenever they make any type of opinion based on a holiday, whether it be Easter, Christmas, maybe kind of like religious holidays, they're going to have people who disagree. So I think that maybe some people would say, well, what about all those people who don't believe in, who aren't Christians and don't believe in Easter? Like, he just offended all of them. All right, well, you're going to offend somebody.
Okay, but help me to understand, what's there to be offended by? If they're not Christians and they don't celebrate Easter, what's there to be offended by? I guess when
he's pushing his rhetoric, he's pushing his views upon you.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, okay, but
what would somebody say? Maybe they'd say something like that.
Okay, you're probably right. What I guess where I was going is, how are we supposed to bring people to a table and have discourse and dialogue? How are we supposed to work through things? It's as if it was a Muslim was across from me and he wanted to celebrate Ramadan. Okay, in America, you're allowed to celebrate Ramadan. I don't agree with you, but you're allowed to celebrate that. And here's the other thing. I'm not going to think less of you as an American because you do. You're still an image bearer of God, and that matters to me. I don't know why we can't have civil conversation anymore. And that's all I'm saying. So the guy makes a clip. Okay, that's great. I'm not guaranteeing his salvation. I'm not guaranteeing even his walk or validating his walk with Christ. I'm almost positive he didn't write that. Is that safe to say? Is that am I okay to say that? I'm pretty sure he didn't write that. He went on to do a post, a little bit more theologically sound post. That was theologically sound, but I mean a longer than this 50 seconds. And I was like, I don't think he wrote that either. But my point is, I don't understand why we just can't talk about things. And at the end of the day, even if we still disagree politically, can't we still be friends? I don't think we're modeling stuff very healthy in a very healthy way for our kids. I don't know. That's just me. So to be able to bash this, there's nothing to bash on this. Outside of, I guess, well, I don't believe in Easter and the resurrection. Okay, that's fine. You don't got to do egg hunts and eat ham and, go to church. That's fine. Doesn't make you any less of an American. But I don't feel like we're modeling very, very well for the next generation. You see where I'm coming from? Because when somebody does something right, we're not just tipping our hat and saying, hey, man, that was a good one. That was a good job. Does that make sense? And that's where I was going with that. Do you see where I'm coming from, or do you think I'm just being overly sensitive myself?
Yeah, no, I mean, people are... At the same time, you see people coming back to faith, and you see people who are opposed to it even more. And that's what you're going to face. I mean, nothing he said there was wrong. I mean, it truly, God could help us to make this nation stronger and better than it ever has been before. And it's true. I mean, and I don't think there's any other faith that can do that. But through God, this nation could be better. I don't know his personal beliefs and, what he actually lives out. But what he said's true there.
What about you?
I don't know.
What you mean?
I don't know. I mean, I think that sometimes people don't want to be brought to the table because it's hard it might be hard for people to hear when he makes a statement like this that isn't very crazy.
Yeah.
It's maybe hard for people to hear it because of the stuff that he does say that is crazy.
Oh, there's a lot he says. It's crazy. Yeah.
And so it's like, I think maybe it's like, well, it's hard for me to get over that. It's hard for me to come to the table.
Okay, I can see that.
When he's like this in this way, like, I don't want to come to the table. You get so offended by what he says on some of the other stuff that it's like I don't want to sit down.
I can see where he's coming from on that. I definitely can. I still think part of healing, part of mending, is being able to have conversation and dialogue. And if we can't have conversation and dialogue, how are you supposed to heal? How are you supposed to mend? Now
that's also, I mean, sorry to interrupt, but I feel like that it's like that's also asking a level of emotional maturity from people.
Okay, that's exactly what I think is missing. Is we don't have that because we're not teaching that anymore. We're not helping people to grow up. We're keeping people in a state of Peter Pan and adolescence. And being grown up means you have to work through some issues. I said it yesterday, and I said it yesterday. If you're ever going to find the true healing that you're looking for, in Christ and through Christ, you're going to have to pivot with your problems. Do you guys remember this yesterday? Mm-hmm. You're going to have to adjust your expectations, right? And you're going to have to deal with your disappointments. But most of all, you're going to have to come to the understanding that God doesn't owe you anything. There's just going to be some questions you have in life that you have no answers for. And you're going to have to be okay with it. And that's an emotional maturity. That's you growing up. That's you doing away with your adolescence because you're already acknowledging and realizing life isn't fair. Life isn't fair. I could have told you that. And so I just really think that this is an issue, and we got to help people to mature emotionally. That's just my personal opinion. But I think it starts here, being able to have discourse and dialogue. And it's okay to disagree. It doesn't mean that we're not still friends. We're not still brothers. And what can we find to agree upon? I think that's the mature thing to do. What can we agree upon? And okay, well, since we agree upon that, let's make that happen. That's just my personal opinion. You guys got any last thoughts on that or what?
Yeah, I mean, and we're modeling for our children like what that looks like. I mean, if we constantly bicker and fight, and we never sit down with people who have opposing views on anything, that's what they see, and so they're going to do the exact same thing. And so, if we want to see that happen, you have to show them, or else it's just going to be generationally like just inept in regards to that.
What about you, Bishop? You got anything you want to add to that in our close on that segment?
Yeah, I mean, people are going to be mad. I mean, us saying that Jesus is Savior is saying that you're sinful. So people are going to be mad about it. That your lifestyle isn't the way you're supposed to be living. So the whole idea of Jesus and that free gift is calling people out. And so people are constantly be upset of it. People are going to say, like, you think you're better than us, and whatever. They'll get over it. One day, they'll need Jesus.
You think so? You're saying people innately will find that offensive because we're saying Jesus is exclusive.
Yeah, they're going to find excuses. The other religions going to find excuses. Those who are just living in sin are going to find it upsetting, no matter what. Like for those for those in the faith, this is a great sense of joy and happiness.
Okay.
For those outside the faith, this is a sense of being condemned.
But I think part of what makes this nation great is you can have your differences, and we can still find something to agree upon.
Yeah, but just the fact is, people get mad if you smile too much. Why are you happy?
Oh gosh, you're right. No, that's
so funny.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think people just need more. They need to choose joy. How about that? They just need to choose joy. Okay, so I wanted to get to this article. Go ahead and pull that up for us if you can, Nate. So Christianity Today, I had said in a preview to our podcast on my Instagram that I would be posting this story. So as you know, we're celebrating, of course, Easter Sunday, and there was a guy. This is what was Jesus crucified with nails, and with nails, or was it just ropes? So a young, not a young man, but a professor. I'm going to just read this. It's going to come up. But Jeffrey P. Arroyo Garcia, an evangelical Bible scholar who teaches at Gordon College, thinks that there may not be nails, that the Romans actually used ropes sometimes to tie people to a cross. And so you can go on and read the article, and you can go ahead and read the article. But let me just give you the summation of it because I read it. He's saying, listen, because the book of John was written later than the other Gospels, John may have been trying to cover up, or trying to not cover up. Let me choose my words even a little bit better. Trying to fill in the blanks of the gospel story. And therefore, he said that John may have put in there that there was nails, but there was no proof. So he goes on to give all these different explanations. The only problem is John does cite Thomas saying, I believe if we go all the way back up, Nate, I believe it cites, just go over back to the post on X right there. Somebody gives, what's funny is they have the community, stay up right there. Yeah. They have the community policing is what they call it. Go all the way back up. It was right there at the beginning. It says in John 20:27, then he said to Thomas, put your fingers here and see my hands. Reach out your hand and put it in my side. This is Jesus talking to Thomas when he said, I only believe if I touch him. And so, hold on. The professor, Arroyo Garcia, says that he put that in there to kind of fill in the blanks because, it needed to be helped out a little bit. And so that goes against, Bishop, as you know, that goes against the inherency of Scripture. Now you're saying the Scripture isn't true, that it's false. So any way around it, he kind of boxed himself in, what you say. Mm-hmm. And so everybody is blowing up Christianity Today and saying, what are you doing posting this article? What are you doing with it? This is complete lunacy. Why? We all know Jesus was crucified this way. What do you think they were trying to accomplish? What do you think they were trying to do here?
Well, that first comment, here's an idea. Maybe get a Christian to run the Christianity Today account.
The comments. Oh, if you want to read some comments, the comments are brutal. I read them.
Yeah.
Look at this one. Look at this one. Dear CT, there's a grammatical error in paragraph 31. The Romans' use of nails requires a possessive apostrophe. And there's this. So guys just start tearing apart the articles. No, this gets better. Frog of shame. If the frog of shame gets more like this than in the original tweet, then your tweet really sucks. This one. This is why modern scholarship is bad. The goal to say new and edgy things to get the attention to get published, not to reiterate the truth. Here's Colossians. Keep going. Our guy who we've posted before, he's a pastor. Here, look at this one. No. Here's a list of ways your magazine could improve. Replace all your writers with 6-year-olds from solid Christian families. Keep going down. Where's my guy? Hold on. This guy, look at the sad, angry heresy. Our guy, he did the one about, planes that land safely. He's a pastor in Texas. Keep going. I'm looking where he is. Okay. Anyway, we trust Apostle John, who saw Jesus on the cross and included these words in his gospel under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit. We don't trust you. Okay, that's good. Mm-hmm. For God's sakes, delete your account. Keep going down. Okay. Anyway, Bishop, I got a question for you. What? Oh, look at this. Oh, okay. Here, somebody put all the biblical prophecies that he was nailed. Psalms 22, Zechariah 12, John 19, John 20, John 20, 27, Colossians 2, 14. Okay. So, have you not read? Have you not read Jesus to the Pharisees? Oh my gosh. Okay, we better quit. We're gonna go down a rabbit hole. Bishop, what are they doing? What are we doing here?
They're getting talked about.
Yeah, I think that comment of being trendy. I was just talking to someone about this. Talking about elevation. And I was like, you know what? He might. I really haven't listened to him.
Okay.
But my assumption about him is probably Stephen Furtick, that he actually knows his Bible and probably is a decent preacher, but tries to be too trendy. I could be totally wrong. I never really listened to him. Okay. I see the videos of him shooting water guns all the time.
Okay. He shoots water guns?
He was on the stage shooting a water gun. I don't know what he was trying to. Hey,
that'll work in Fresno though, and some of that'll work. That'll preach. That just so y'all know.
There you go. But I think that happens. People will try to get this trendy and want people to come to their site or look at, hear their sermons, and they end up just pushing it too far, trying to be cool.
At the end, the professor says, "I'm not saying he was, and I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm just getting us to think and not draw any conclusions." What'd you get your degree in?
It's certain things you should keep in a small group. Like, it's cool. You can go talk about this, with all your other scholars.
But is there really anything to talk about?
Probably not. But people just like to talk about stuff. So
okay. But he's teaching the class. This is what he's teaching the kids.
That shouldn't happen. There's certain things like me you can maybe talk about that we shouldn't talk about on stage.
Or in your classroom.
Yeah, you shouldn't confuse people. Or like you just having some thoughts about something. But yeah, you're saying you're going against all the scripture. You're getting people to doubt the scripture.
I did post. We didn't see my post up there because so many more people have posted. I to quote my homeboy Joey Swole. You know who Joey Swole is? You got to do better. He does gym things. Anyway, Joey Swole's my guy. So you know what I put? Christianity Today. You need to do better. So I went ahead and quoted him. It's like, this fits right here. What'd you think of that post? Are we doing too much? This is stupid.
Yeah, as Deshaun was talking, I was thinking like Stephen A. Smith, like these people who they just talk and they say things in order to stay relevant.
Okay.
Like that's was Skip Bayless is another sports guy.
Yeah, that dude.
But
did they ever have a show together? That'd be one to watch.
They did, right?
They started off together.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, that's how they both got on.
My bad.
Skip Bayless left and basically died.
Oh,
his career died.
Oh, I was gonna say he died.
No, his career died.
And so it's like, this guy, for him to say at the end, well, nah, just kidding. I'm just throwing it out there.
Thanks for reading.
Yeah. I mean, you have people who are talking about him today and talking about Christianity. I mean, when's the last time you were talking about Christianity today?
Okay, I bring this up. Okay, I need to admit, because you guys accuse me of getting us into trouble sometimes. Like with some of my clips,
we accuse
you accuse me of like stirring the pot, getting us in a little bit of trouble, getting us in the deep end of the pool with some of the clips I be showing sometimes.
Yes.
Okay. No, that's not a fair assessment, Mike. Come on, man. I do this because the people demand it. They command it. Okay. So I got a clip talking about biblical illiteracy and heresy, right? Like what's going on with people in the Bible. I have a clip that I want to show you. This thing, I didn't know it trended so well. I didn't know it was so many people copied it, but this was something going on, and I just want to show it to you because this piggybacks. Have you not read? Like, what are people's? Because let me preface real quick. There are some believers who even got this wrong, and I don't know how they got it wrong. Okay, so this was kind of made me mystified, and then we're going to jump into some more Resurrection Sunday stuff. But watch this clip right here.
Who comes first, his wife, his kids, or his mother?
His wife, absolutely his wife. Because that's biblical. You gotta love them all, but the wife comes first.
Wife comes first. Once the kid's gone, it's just you and the wife.
I'm in total agreement the wife comes first because it's you and her. Everything stimulation comes from you and her.
I would say my mother if I had to choose. Yeah, my mom. Yeah, she brought me on this oath. That's my best friend. You know what I'm saying? So I got to. Yeah.
Your kids. It's your legacy, you know what I mean? Your mom got to live her life. Your girl's going to live her life.
So you could find that wife, I believe it's called Who Comes First, Wife, Mom, or Kids. You can find that several different people have done a Man on the Street and done this. And I was surprised to find how many believers. This specific person targeted Christians. And you can see even though there was a split. Why is this even a question, Bishop? I don't understand. If you follow the Bible, why is this even a debate or a dilemma?
I don't know. I mean, probably because people get divorced so much, they don't even see it as like, this ain't gonna last anyways.
Yep.
Might as well stick by my mom. Kids always gonna like me no matter what.
Mm.
Or
no, we live in a different
the,
generation.
Or they're like, well,
they'll
mom's
still be your kids though.
You know, mom's gonna die soon.
Okay.
Wife's gonna run out on me. This is not gonna last. But
So
the
like us,
kids,
the kids.
yeah, they're in my image.
Why? Okay, Mike, you agree with the bishop when he said divorce is so prevalent, so that's why. So why'd you agree with that? What were you thinking?
Well, I could definitely see. I mean, obviously, we don't agree with what they're saying, so I'm trying to like get into the shoes of somebody else.
No, go ahead. Yeah,
and I could definitely see how even people that I know, I mean, the way that they've approached marriage or the thought of marriage is like, well, this is a potential temporary thing. You know, there's a good chance this isn't going to work out, but I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
And then even in like Christian homes, you see the divorce rate being so high, it being very comparable to non-Christian homes. So people who are, you know, approaching marriage or in marriage, some people are already like, this may not work out. So if I've got to choose between the three, who's gonna be loyal to me the longest? Well, mom's gonna die or wife's gonna leave me. Well, at least I have my kids.
Yeah. Why are we just asking, because we're all pastors here, are we doing a bad job of preaching the order of the home? Are we not doing a good enough job there? Are we not being clear enough in our communication that this is even a question? I don't know. Help me to understand. I like what you did. You're getting into the shoes of the other people, but help me to understand, because biblically this is not a gray issue. This is very clean, clear cut. Here, it goes your wife first. You're in covenant with her. And then, of course, it is your kids, because you started your own family nucleus. So, are we doing a poor job, or what do you think's going on here?
It is something that could maybe get talked about more, because it is a big issue. So, in terms of how big of an issue it is and how much we talk about it, it probably could be talked about more about how to. You put your spouse first, above your kids and above your. Because I mean, you definitely see, I think more than the kids, like your family. So like mom and dad, like they'll put their mom and dad first before their husband or wife, and they'll have family traditions like, no, I got to go back home. I got to do this. My family's going to hate you. It's like, well, so what? Like, this is your spouse. So I think you see more of that, I think, happening a lot.
What about you? Let me give you a different question. So this is one of those classic case points where we talk about culture and its influence on the church. They did this study. They did this again, and they did it at a college campus. I believe it was Arizona State. Or at least everybody had a lot of ASU stuff on, so I'm just assuming there. And they asked all these students. Not one said your wife first. I watched. It was about a minute 15 second of a clip, and not one said the wife first. Matter of fact, the answers were long. What you guys say? Well, the wife's going to leave. The wife's going to leave. I found that very interesting. That's why I asked you: are we doing a poor job of communicating, or is this a classic case of the culture is now influencing the church on that decision? Which one, or is it an amalgamation of both, a combination of both?
The Arizona State one, was that Christians as well?
No. No, I think it was just, well,
they don't have those in Arizona State.
Well, I was going to say by the cups they were holding, I don't think that was. But does that make sense?
There's
I'm
baptismal
assuming,
water in the red cups.
Definitely holy water for sure.
So what's the question?
So do you think this is a classic case of culture influencing the church or lack of biblical teachings, or both?
Yeah, I think both. As you guys were talking, I was thinking about, like, do you guys feel that we cater more to our kids now than, like, maybe when I say previous generations, like
100%.
10, 15, 20
100%.
years ago?
You're talking to a guy who's a part of a generation we raised ourselves. Nothing was catered to us. I'm Gen X, baby, all day. We're the most ruthless ones.
You're
well, I think yes and no. I think that's a problem too. Is that
we raised ourselves?
Yeah.
I feel like I turned out just fine. I don't know what you're talking about. You millennials are the ones that jacked all this stuff up. It started with you guys in Don't get me started on it. Don't get me started. Participation trophies. Everybody's a winner.
I'm trying to be biblical. You act like I'm attacking you.
But the furry kids and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's your generation after you.
But that's your generation's kids.
No. Nice try. Nice try. No.
Whose kids are they?
No, because
like teenagers.
If you look at that, depending, how old are you guys?
40.
Okay, you're not the beginning of millennials. You're not the beginning.
Yeah.
No, he's older than you.
Oh, okay.
No, if you go by, hold on. If you go, depending on who you go by, they're going to say somewhere between 76 and 80. Okay, so if you were born in 1980, how old are you right now?
About to be 45.
Exactly. So how old do you think their kids are?
20.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's not just Gen X kids. Matter of fact, Gen X, if you go all the way back, if you go to when Gen X, now depending on who you follow again, Gen X could go all the way as early as 1960. How old do you think those kids are? They're not furries. Those kids are old.
I'm just saying.
So no, that's a combination. That would be the tail end. That would be the tail end of Gen X. And definitely the beginning and somewhat close to the middle of y'all millennials. Y'all jacked it up. I'm trying to tell you, don't make me do this. Don't make me embarrass you on our own podcast.
Where I was trying to go whatsoever.
But where are you going with it, Bishop? Go ahead. He brought up furries and fluffies. I had to correct him real quick. That was a real quick clap back.
I'm still sold on my comment.
You can be sold on, and you know what? You can be sold on. This is America. You can have your opinion. I'm about to light him up over here. Go ahead. Go ahead, Bishop.
Everybody would say 20 and 25-year-olds are not doing too well. So go ahead.
Who's not doing, bro? Not doing well is everything from 25 and I would say 25 to 15.
20, 25, 20 to 30. We just did that whole segment on with the dating online thing. What'd you call it?
I don't know.
The people who date online. You got friends online. What is it?
I don't know. I didn't
what
call
is
it
the friends one? Just be friends. What is it?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
I was trying to think too.
Yeah.
I was like, we just talked about.
Yeah. Hey, that's
Can we be friends? I don't think that's. Okay, we're jacking. Okay, where we go? Go ahead.
The question was asked. Do we cater too much to our kids? Is that the issue?
Yes.
And I can see both ways of people cater too much to their kids and also just totally absent from their kids. Mm-hmm. Because we see generations far in the past where they're really active. The family unit was together. They cared for each other. They were doing things together. And now we see this like, no, I want to see my kid be great at sports. So it's not them a family unit, but it's like I'm investing all this into them. Hopefully they can take care of me later on.
Gotcha.
Or you completely just abandon your kid. And so I think no matter what, the parties are getting messed up when raising kids.
Yeah.
So either way, either extreme, I think can get bad. Got you.
I think it's a combination of both. I think it's culture coming in to what we call the church, but I also think we got to do better. At preaching, hey, this is a biblical perspective. I think we've done a little bit too much of topical teaching, and we just need to let the Bible speak for itself. We need to let the Bible, preach itself, and we need to just teach the Bible. That's just my own personal opinion. We had an era of where we just did too much of self-help, and really we need to die to self, not self-help. We don't need that. We need to know what it means to carry a cross and go through hard times, and you're not always going to get every prayer answered. And I think we just got to get a little tougher. So that's just my opinion, and we got to push back against that culture. So let's talk about Easter Sunday, which I felt. I know for us, and hopefully all the churches around America did well. I said something yesterday that I really wanted to get some thoughts on from you guys. I said it right before my close, before I did Bishop Lockridge's. That's my king. My statement was only Jesus, and only Jesus could fix the broken marriages. Only Jesus could help, our wayward kids. Only Jesus could heal the racial reconciliation, the racial tension in America. Only Jesus can bring two political divides, together. It's under the banner of Jesus, right? Jehovah Nissi, the banner of Christ, that we can really find what we're looking for. We can really find, and I say the peace and the comfort. And the reason I say that is I saw some clips from Bethlehem from Jerusalem, and they were there was a contentious moments between the Christians and the Jews and the Jewish police in particular. And they were posting this video of, and now I don't know if it's true or not, but the video said in its caption that one of the Israeli police put their foot on a holy monument during Good Friday service and the lighting of the fire of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. And long story short, one of the I believe he was Palestinian. One of the Palestinian Christians got really upset, and it was this whole big melee and fight and all this stuff. And I watched that, and of course, knowing all the stuff that's going on in the Middle East, I just thought to myself, only Jesus could really solve this. If both people would surrender to the Lordship of Christ, that's how we're going to find peace. And that's how I got on that. Only Jesus could do this, and only Jesus could heal this, and only Jesus could fix this, and only Jesus. I mean every word I say. Only Jesus can bring black and white together. Only Jesus could bring, two people on opposite sides of the spectrum politically. Only Jesus. And I feel like we don't do a good enough job surrendering to Jesus. What did you think about my comment when I said that yesterday? Did that trigger any thoughts in your own brain, or what were you thinking?
Yeah, Jesus, the only one truly can heal any division. Like any division that you see in the world, the one thing that we can unite over is Jesus. He can bring a group of people together from all different backgrounds, different types of families, different things that they grew up with, and they all can come and serve together, love each other, no matter what they've been through, no matter how they look. Jesus does it. I mean, that's what every Sunday service is supposed to look like. It's people coming up from different backgrounds, coming and man, we can all worship and praise together under this banner that Jesus is Lord.
What about you, Mike? What are you thinking about that when I said the only Jesus part?
Yeah, I just think of all the different stories I've heard about people whose lives have changed, and it's like there's really no answer. It's like only Jesus.
Right.
They're thinking about, even as Deshaun was describing, basically like the church, how in the really fun churches you'll have a pew that'll have people just that look completely different, that come from way different backgrounds, that do things for careers differently. And you're just like, man, how would you, where other place would you have all these people getting together in one area, in unity and in love? It's like only the church, only
Is
Jesus.
it that what makes the church makes us so powerful? Is that we can have people from every race, color, creed, and all that stuff? Isn't that what makes us so powerful?
Yeah, and it makes it fun.
I think it makes it a great time, actually. Yeah, absolutely. The reason I bring that up is, are you guys familiar with the Austin Metcalf and the Carmelo Anthony incident that happened in Texas? Are you familiar with that? And how the young man, I believe, Anthony, Carmelo Anthony, how he stabbed Austin. I'm looking at it right now. Austin Metcalf in the chest with a knife and killed him at a track meet. Are you guys aware of that?
Yeah, that's all I know.
Okay. Are you aware of it?
I know. Yeah, I know maybe half of what you just said.
Okay.
That's it, yeah.
So what happened as a result of that, there was a big melee that Carmelo's bail got drastically reduced and he was able to make bail. And so as a result of that, they started a Protect White America Act.
Which one was white?
Austin.
The victim.
Metcalf.
The victim. Oh.
Yeah. Metcalf was white, and he was a junior in high school at a track meet. And there's still speculation on the story as far as how it all exactly went down outside of the stabbing in the stands. So they started a Protect White America rally. And Austin's father is like, what are you doing? And he tells the organizer, keep my name out of your mouth. Keep my son's name out of your mouth. We're not doing this. And so they accused Austin Metcalf's dad of rolling over and selling out his own race and not trying to do this. And it got me thinking.
Is it a Klan rally? What is that?
I have no idea, but it got me thinking. What are we trying to accomplish here? And in all these things that we do, these protests, whether it be Black Lives Matter or Protect White Americans, I don't understand the goal of what we're trying to do. And if you're a believer, what are you really trying to accomplish there? When really we should be talking about. How do we, push the kingdom forward or expand the kingdom? I don't know. What do you even think? What are they trying to accomplish here? Do you have any idea what's the goal here?
I don't know. I mean, it's cool that the dad, he's going through a hard time and they want to do some stupid stuff like that. And the fact that he had the courage to say, I don't want to be a part of this,
Okay, well, let me give you a flip side to something. He shows up to one of the press conferences with the Anthonys. That's her last names. And they kick him out. The dad did. And he goes on to do an interview. He goes, I was just there to pray with him and let him know I forgive him. That, I feel bad that we're both going to lose sons today. Your son's going to go to prison and mine is dead. And I just wanted to pray with you and let you know that I forgive you. And then I'm ready to walk in reconciliation. And they literally kicked him out. How are we ever supposed to heal if we can't dialogue and have conversation? Like, what are we doing? And now you got everybody choosing sides. He must have provoked that black kid. No, that black kid, some people say that's just the way he was, and he wasn't this good student like everybody says he was. Now all we're doing is fueling the fire. When are we going to sit down and talk about it? When are we going to sit down and try to bring healing and reconciliation? And that's why I went on that jump yesterday. Only Jesus can do that. And if everybody would surrender to the lordship of Jesus Christ, we wouldn't have this. We wouldn't have this at all. We would have kingdom people, not kingdom select people. I don't know. Does that make any sense? I'm so frustrated. Like, it's like the two arguments again. No, there's no such thing as police profiling. Yes, there is. And it's okay to say there is. And it's okay to admit it. I mean, I've been subject to it so many times. I mean, I told you guys the last story that I was subject to it. I get it. I'm not mad about it. And I also know there's great cops out there who don't do that. Praise God, who are believers, strong Christian believers. I work out with them in the gym. So I just think if we're not able to have honest conversations, we're not going to get anywhere. And I think in this case, we need to get somewhere. Hey, we need to figure out all the things that happened. What led to this incident? Why did he bring a knife to school? Why did he feel the need to stab? Does that make sense? Like, we got to have, I don't know. I'm just on a rant. What do you think about what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, we did figure. I mean, if you have a black and you have a white kid, this will be a racial thing. Because where are they at?
Texas.
Oh, yeah.
That's the South.
Yeah.
Well, they're saying had it been the other way around, this white kid stabbed a black kid, this would have been over all the news. Now listen to me. You guys know I'm fair.
Yeah.
They ain't lying about that.
Yeah,
and anybody who says that they are, see, that's not you admitting the truth. Had it been the other way around, we'd be marching in the street already. We'd have shut Dallas down. I agree with that statement. I agree. I totally agree with what I just said. However, if we still don't come to the table and talk and dialogue and really have in-depth conversation and submit it to the lordship of Jesus Christ, we're going to continue to have racial problems. I don't know. I feel like I'm just babbling. Like I'm trying to just beat this gong to death over here. You know what I'm saying? But we need to do something, and the church needs to step in and step up. That's where I'm going with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard one. People are so divided over it. This is another thing that people just divide over. People are they're angry about, and people will use it. People from the outside will come use this as a tool. That's why when that dad shows up there, it's like, I don't want to be a part of this. This is not helping. People see this as opportunity.
But the dad is right, though, right? It's not helping.
Well, anytime there's any gun violence, here comes a whole other crew. Some try to want to ban guns, or people who are for guns. They just use this as another marker, another place for them to fight for their battle. They don't care about the kids.
I need to know, Mike, where are the problem solvers? Where are the solution-oriented people? Where are the people who really want to make progress and move forward and do something? Where are those people at? Blessed are the peacemakers.
Maybe working on other stuff. I don't know. Like, we were talking about people who had idle hands before.
Yeah, but I guess why are we so afraid to have honest conversation about things? And in the kingdom, we should be having honest conversation.
Because that requires not choosing sides.
And what's wrong with that?
You have to choose sides.
Who said?
Everybody. I don't know.
Okay, but do you agree? No, I know. But what I'm saying is, isn't that part of the problem?
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about like that.
How about I'm on God's side? I'm on the biblical side. If that,
but even then, people are going to say, okay, but that even inside of that, you need to choose a side.
Okay, but listen, even if that dad on God, if this is real, if that dad was really there to pray with that family and to offer comfort and solace, and we're both going to lose a son, and how do we get reconciliation and healing? Why did you kick him out? Why? All you did was fuel the fire. You could at least ask why he was there.
Well, if you fuel the fire, then the fire stays lit, and then people's agendas continue.
Okay,
and then
but
people's
I'm saying,
nonprofits keep getting money.
You're right.
It's it ends up being a money grab. It ends up being like this whole wheel of everything.
But do you see where I'm coming from? We could at least start it somewhere. We could have started somewhere with some healing and reconciliation. That's all I'm saying. Instead, we get Protect White America Act. What is that?
I mean, I'm down. mean, if the opposite is not protect white America, like, I mean, just throwing it out there. I like protection.
But the truth is, we have a whole bunch of. You're right. We have a whole bunch of race baiters that get they get money off this, and that's right. But as kingdom folks, especially the church, we need to do better. We need to admit that there are injustices and that we are the problem solvers to this injustice. It's through helping people have a deeper walk with God. That's the only way. Is to fall more in love with Jesus. That's it.
Yeah, if you can get people to come to the table and say, "Hey, there's things that we do that are right and things that we can do that we do that are wrong." I think people don't want, because this is like, especially with race, like it's so deep and there's so many wounds still involved with people. Like, to admit fault is like something that people just don't want to do. You have to come to in order for there to be like just some good healing. It's like, hey, yeah, we were wrong. We do that.
You think he's right on that? To admit if you're wrong?
Yeah, people don't want to admit they're wrong.
Why though? What's so wrong with saying, hey guys, my bad on that one. I blew that. I shouldn't have done that. I need to do better.
Because you don't want someone to hold that over your head.
But why would we hold that?
Because people do that. They'll use it. They'll use things against your weakness as a tool to control
horrible.
you.
That's horrible. That's not right. That's right. People are going to own up to their own mistakes. You don't got to rub their nose in there or hold it over their head. You just got to. This is part of life. To err is human. We all make mistakes. Okay, well, all right. Well, I don't feel like we solved any world's problems, but we sure did take a crack at it. But I'm telling you right now, we need to do better as the church. We need to be the voice of reason and of truth, and we need to be able to call a spade. And I'm telling you right now, healing and racial reconciliation starts with the church, and that's what we need to do. We obviously need to do a better job at it, but I think the truth at the end of the day is what wins. Okay, I wanted to close this segment with a little something different. We just had Easter. A lot of people made decisions for Christ. How do we keep the Easter momentum going spiritually? I want you just to think of something that you would encourage one of our listeners to do to keep their spiritual momentum going. I don't know, prayer, fasting, reading the word, whatever you guys want to choose. But I want you to just close with the thought, give it to our audience today. Don't forget, this is that Not Offended podcast. Y'all should be liking, sharing, and commenting. Leave some comments in there. But I want you to, Bishop, we're going to start with you since you won yesterday, bro. Like, you are $50 ahead of the game right now.
But he didn't want it.
But he didn't want it, yeah. So are you giving a tithe and offering to Pastor Mike over there? Tithe and offering, bro. There you go. But what would you encourage our listeners to keep that momentum going spiritually? What would you recommend they do?
Just working on some good habits. I know that's some things that I was looking at just for myself. This different things of like when I read, when I pray, being more structured in it instead of just hoping that you do stuff, or you at the end of the night and certain things you didn't do. So I know one thing I want to try to do with my family is try to come up with some things that we as a family that we do, like on a daily or weekly basis, and write those out. So, and it also helps me to stay accountable because my kids will probably call me out if I don't stick to them. So
your kids call you out a lot or what?
Oh yeah, if you say you're gonna do something, they remember. So they have these great memories.
But do they remember to clean their room and empty the trash and stuff like that?
My kids do pretty good.
Okay,
I know, like my kids are pretty good.
Even JoJo? JoJo?
No, he's 2. So, but I mean, they all have their issues, but they do pretty good.
They do pretty good. Okay.
And so, but just having some things I do, like that really, we're talking about like culture and like the things that like you want to see good results. It doesn't happen by accident. So really having some type of plan in place to actually see the results I want.
Oh. What you got, Mike? What you got for the audience? What you gonna recommend? Keep that momentum going.
I'll keep it church attendance related.
Go ahead.
So if you hadn't been to church in a long time and you found yourself at church this last Easter, yesterday, show up next week. Make it 2 weeks in a row.
Let's go.
And don't allow all the different things of the world to keep you from church. Like, yeah, there's going to be laundry. There's going to be kid stuff. There's going to be homework. There's going to be, errands. But make time for it. So if you've already been attending church, then maybe your next step, to keep that ball rolling is to get more involved. And wherever you go to church, ask your pastor, ask the leadership, hey, how do I get involved? What does that look like? We have a class at our church that's very directed towards that. So anyway, if you haven't been going to church, show up again next week. If you have been going, look at your involvement and dig a little deeper.
Those are really good answers, guys. Thank you so much. I just want to give everybody what I call my little 4-piece combo. I talked about it yesterday. I'm going to run it back today. First off, number one is you got to learn to deal with your disappointment. If you're not careful and you don't really take this with some caution, your disappointments will get the best of you. And you'll feel like God has let you down, that he didn't come through on some promises, or that he took too long. And so you really got to deal with your disappointments. You got to hand those over to the Lord. Part of dealing with your disappointments is you got to adjust your expectations. What were you really expecting to happen? What did you really feel like God said he was going to do? How did that measure up against the word? You really got to look at it circumspectively and just really think to yourself, should have I adjusted my expectations? It's like you got that one friend who's always late. And that one time you really needed to come through, you expected them to be early. You knew better than that. They were going to be late. So you got to adjust those expectations. Then you got to learn how to pivot with your problems. I try to teach people this all the time. Problems are inevitable. They're going to happen no matter what. Jesus said in this life, you will always have problems. And the older you get, normally the more problems you have. So you got to learn how to adjust with those and pivot with those and realize that you got to start to rank your problems. Hey, is this an urgent need? Is this an emergency? Or can this wait a little bit? Or how bad really is that problem? It's good to have a friend who you can bounce those problems off with, because sooner or later you're going to realize your problems might not be that bad. Last but not least, and this is the one that would take everything home, God doesn't owe you anything. We live our lives as believers over here in the West like God owes us something, like he owes us a good life, an easy life, a comfortable life, a convenient life. And that's not owed to you. It wasn't owed to his apostles, who all died tragic deaths except one. It wasn't owed to even our own blessed Savior, who died a villain's death, a thief's death. And yet we expect that from him. Maybe it's about time we realize, God, you don't owe me anything, but you're allowing me to pray for everything. Wow, what a Savior. What a great God we serve. If we could always keep this in the back of our mind, God is kind. You will love your life and you'll love everything about it. And especially you'll be able to choose joy knowing that God has got your back. Peace. This has been the Not a Fan Podcast. I'm out.